The Gollywhopper Games by Jody Feldman. This is Chapter 5. Gil! 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 You alive? Gil bolted upright. People, grass, tree. Huh? Hey, said Frankie, one of those head shakers from football practice. In his haze, Gil pictured Frankie diving into the pool at the house that should have been Gil's. The house south of town, with a media room off the den and a bathtub so big you could swim in it, was nearly finished right before the incident. Gil's parents had been grateful that Frankie's bought it from them so quickly, but every time Gil saw Frankie, he also saw the zip line that should have been his own. And he couldn't forget that day at football practice. Gil gave Frankie a nod, and Frankie apparently took it as an invitation to sit on the sleeping bag. I saw you sleeping here a couple hours ago, and when I came back you hadn't moved a muscle. I was checking to make sure you weren't dead. Wishful thinking? Crud, no. Frankie brushed his dark hair away from his eyes. Why'd you think that? Football practice last year, the Twins practically kicked me off the team. You shook your head and walked away. 'Cause they were jerks, and I couldn't believe what they were saying. You thought I wanted you off the team? Frankie shook his head. I was hoping you'd come back. My mom said you probably would if I gave you a little time, and I've tried the time thing, but today I decided this has been ridiculous. Huh? You're never anywhere anymore. Not football or baseball, not even at lunch during school last year. Where'd you eat? The bathroom? Gross, Frankie. And it was, the one time he'd tried it. I ate in the science room, which would be gross too. Not if you avoid the rabbit droppings. Gil smiled again, wondering why this felt so easy. So now that I found you, said Frankie, I've got to tell you, Football League practice starts next week, and we need a wide receiver. You were the best. Gil dug at some dirt underneath his fingernails. Rocky was always the best. Rocky was always a jerk. Probably still is, but he's long gone. You know that. Gil's head snapped up. You didn't notice he was gone? Man, you have been a hermit. If you believe Rocky, his dad got this perfect new job a bunch of time ago in Maine or Wyoming. How can you confuse Maine with Wyoming? Gil laughed. I don't care enough to remember. Anyway, the dad left first, and when he got settled in some mansion, Rocky and his mom moved there too. Frankie groaned to a stand. But I don't want to talk about him anymore. Got to get back to work. He pointed to his yellow golly badge. Can you believe they're actually paying employees' kids to hang around in case people have questions? Have any questions? No, thanks. Okay, football field next week. Be there. Frankie turned and walked away. Gil's gut said to stop Frankie and ask what day, what time, what field. Ask if the twin giraffes would be there and whose side the other guys were on. Instead, he watched Frankie disappear behind the hot dog, smoke billowing from a grill. Food. Gil needed food. He reached into his duffel, hoping to pull out an 8-course meal. But he came up with his 3 golly notebooks instead. These notebooks had been his sport for the last 6 months. After he made that deal with his dad, Gil started collecting every shred of information he could find out about Golly, then studied the company like another subject. He opened volume 1 for the millionth and maybe the last time. And here's his notebook. Originally founded on his 25th birthday, August 11th, by Thaddeus G. Gollywhop Sr. as T.G. Golly Toys, exactly 50 years ago today. Should have wished the old man a happy birthday. He flipped to page 3. In the first year, introduced 1 new product each month. Now the largest company of its kind in the world with more than 800 toys and games on its active sales list, including cutting-edge video and computer technology. After a while, he found himself reading page 10 for the 15th time, not because it was complicated, but because he was distracted from it by whiffs of barbecued chicken and popcorn and now pepperoni pizza so close he could almost... Here, touch it? Frankie was back, holding 2 slices and a humongous soda for him. Thought you could use this. Don't want our wide receiver wasting away in line. Gil smiled, but didn't reach for it. Come on, take it. One of the side benefits of this job, we get all the food we can eat. Seriously? Gil didn't want charity. My money's at home in the bathtub. Don't ask, but I'll pay you back. Now there's an idea, said Frankie. Get free food and sell it. We could... Wow. Wow, wow. Of all the perfect dreams. Don't turn now, but way over there, there's this girl. And she's wearing an orange bikini top and unzipped jean shorts covering her bottoms, and she's heading right for us. You psychic, Gil? Yeah, call me Magno the Magnificent, Gil smiled. No, her name's Bianca. She's my next door neighbor here. She's 15, so stop drooling. I can dream, can't I? Frankie pulled his attention away from her. Gotta go, but I will return. He looked over his shoulder 3 times before he was out of sight. I'm back, everyone, Bianca said, but I'm not too happy. She flopped onto a lounge chair next to Kurt's. I couldn't find out anything. Gil took a bite of pizza and slapped volume 1 closed. Bianca pointed to the notebook. What you doing? She asked. School stuff? It'd be a crime if you were one of those people who study before school starts. Those yolk heads. It's eggheads, Bianca, said Kurt. Whatever. She leaned over and grabbed volume 1. So what is this? Gil explained the notebooks. Bianca read a chunk of the history, flipped through the stock market pages, then lingered on the newspaper articles that interviewed some of the instant winners. Wow, Gil, she said. I didn't know we'd have to know anything. I just thought, I don't know what I thought I'd have to do. Hey, Double G, I'm going to stick with you, mind? Gil shrugged. Watch my stuff? He got up to use one of the porta potties. Yeah, he did mind. He'd been clever enough to figure out what to do. He'd made and studied the notebooks. He'd worked all sorts of puzzles with his dad. All sorts of puzzles his dad had copied and brought home from the library. But he didn't need to make another enemy. He went back to his spot, trying not to look mad, and when he saw 2 water bottles and some Laffy Taffy ropes in the shape of an F, he actually smiled. Frankie had struck again. Gil took a bite of the candy and sat there, saw Bianca crack open volume 2 of the notebooks. It's like watching paint dry, said Kurt. Come on, Gil, let's go play volleyball. And risk someone else kicking him off another sports team? Come on, Gil. Bianca will watch our stuff. He got up. Why not? The twins were working. Most other kids from school would be too if they were even here. Their parents still had jobs at Golly. Lucky them. In spite of everything, Gil missed going to Golly headquarters on Saturdays with his dad. He remembered one particular morning when he was 9. They'd opened the door to his dad's office, and there, sitting like a person at the desk, was a life-size bear, pretending to type at the keyboard. The screen invited Gil to come to the testing room and bring his friend. Using the bear as a chair, Gil spent hours testing a huge loop-de-loop car track that collapsed into a carrying case without needing to break down into a million pieces. He wanted to take that home so badly. He wondered why Golly never did make it. It was amazing. So was the volleyball they were playing with. Gil didn't know if Golly sold this one yet or if they were watching today to see how it tested out. It was regulation white until you hit it. Then, depending on the spot, it glowed a different color. He couldn't wait to see it at night. Gil got into the game fast. Set, spike, dig, set, spike, score! The rhythm of the game seemed as natural as breathing. He did miss sports. Even as hot as it was, he didn't want to take the rotation out, especially because both Lonnie and Donnie were on the sidelines waiting for him. Now what? Said Gil. Lonnie told me you were here, said Donnie. And? Gil said, putting on his best I dare you face. And nothing. Just didn't believe you existed anymore. He looked at his brother. He's still got game. Shouldn't be here, though. Lonnie shook his head. You know you shouldn't be here, Gil. I checked the rules, Gil said. None of my relatives have worked at Golly for more than a year. I'm eligible. Lonnie shrugged. They should have added a Goodson rule, you creep. Let's go, Donnie. Gil felt sorry for the volleyball. Knew he'd smash the air out of it the next time it came his way. Set. Spike it right at the Twins. Score. Would this always be his life in Orchard Heights? And here's Lonnie and Donnie giving him a hard time.